Crow, and I ain't your Negro. My name ain't Jim Crow, and I ain't your Negro. I just wanna be me, Kevin Woodley. I won't be your houseboy. Please don't call me Leroy. Yeah. I ain't your houseboy. Please don't call me Leroy. All I wanna be is Kevin Woodley. I ain't driving Miss Daisy, 'cause she used to drive me.
Welcome to Joshua's House for Christian Artists. I'm your host, Samar, better known as Apostle Dr. Hilo would say, Gibson. I'm so glad to have on today a special guest for Joyce. And I also want to celebrate February, which is Black History Month, a tradition that got its start in the Jim Crow era, hello somebody, and was officially recognized in 1876 as part of the nation's bicentennial celebration. It aims to honor the contributions that African Americans have made and to recognize their sacrifices. This is why I brought Fury Young on, for one thing, because he's part of the original Die Jim Crow .com. I'm gonna let Fury tell himself a little bit about you, and then we're gonna talk about why I brought Fury here and to join Joyce in it. It's a mind-blowing situation set up from God. Welcome, Fury.
Thank you, Apostle. Shall I just go right into it?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Die Jim Crow is the first and only record label in America for prison-impacted musicians, folks who have either been to prison or are still in prison. And we go inside to various prisons across the country and we record them in there. And it started in 2013 when I decided to take on this one album called Die Jim Crow. And originally, Die Jim Crow was supposed to be this one concept album about racial injustice in the US prison system. And I wanted to work with formerly and currently incarcerated, really just Black musicians at first, who wanted to tell their story through this concept album. I had known some important people who were Black, formerly incarcerated. I myself have never been to prison, but I felt it was very important to highlight these stories, to get these voices out there. And then the very truncated version of it, to take 7 years and put it into one sentence, is that one album eventually became a record label because we were getting access to so many different prisons.
Amen. Amen. And we thank God for God giving you that assignment, and how we had met many years ago. And I was able to sing on that EP, and I thank God because it allowed me to realize I had some talents I had no idea about. Even when you did an improv, my first improv, and it's on YouTube, Fury playing the guitar, and my title song is Freedom. And it's just amazing that you don't know what you have inside you, so God connects you with certain people. And that's why I want to talk about the song by Kevin Woodley. Tell us about Kevin Woodley and his song, and then we will bring it to the other part.
Sure. So Kevin Woodley is a gentleman. He's in his early 60s. He's incarcerated right now in Colorado. And I met him through this project we worked on called Territorial, which is it's the second full-length album that Die Jim Crow Records ever put out, and the first album we put out from a group that was in prison. And Kevin is originally from Chicago. He was trained as a blues singer, but he had roots from the South, I believe, from Mississippi, and he has a lot of distinct early memories of going down south and seeing Jim Crow signs. His parents lived in the peak, Jim Crow era, and so he put together this song, which we ended up calling just simply Woodley, his last name. And it's sort of like a throwback. It's like a song that could have been released in the 1950s. And I don't know if you're going to play it, Apostle, but he's saying, don't call me Jim Crow. I'm not driving Mrs. Daisy. That old girl should drive me crazy. He's just speaking his truth and saying that all I want to be is me, Kevin Woodley. I mean, Kevin's a really boisterous, jovial personality. I mean, he's differently abled. He's in a wheelchair. He has a lot of health conditions, but he's somebody who just radiates a positive kind of energy, and I really appreciate that about him. You can hear it in his music.
Amen. So I'm part of Die Jim Crow, and Fury said, Apostle, just take this and do what you want with it. Let me hear it. Well, I took that song, vamped it the way the Lord gave it to me, because it hit me hard. Then there was a guy I was working with that Fury had connected me with, and I told him, I want this sound in here, I want this here, and I want that. And he said, well, I don't know. I would send the guy to YouTube videos, and he did his part. And then I said, okay, it's missing something. So what I did, I sent it to Joyce. I said, Joyce, I need for you to add the flavor to make the difference in this. And I had titled it Apostle Helois. Joyce, tell them what happened when I sent that song to you.
Oh, wow. You sent it to me, and I remember thinking when I heard it, it was so authentic in terms of the way you were singing it. It just made me feel Jim Crow, that era. And because I tell people, I'm from South Louisiana, and when I was born, yes, that was an all-Black school, but my parents, there was still a school in the small town, but Black people were not allowed to attend. The Black families who had enough money to send their children maybe to a bigger city or to a Catholic school that would accept you and graduate from high school. And my grandfather, he was instrumental in, having a room to educate the Black children in the area, but it only took them so far. So hearing that song, I heard my grandfather, I heard my great-grandfather and grandmothers as well. And so since I know how it feels, it was really a pleasure to lay some sax on that one and feel that as well. So, I mean, it sounds crazy today, like to my kids, to tell them, you're just one generation away. It's really not that long ago when you think about it. And then especially finding out that my cousin, Daphne, after doing the DNA, she did further research, and we actually traced back when one of our 4 grandparents came from Togo, Africa, on a slave ship, and the exact plantation they were on, and I'm just going to say the trials and tribulations they were on. So, yeah, it was a pleasure to do that song, to feel it, to just the grit.
Good old boy used to drive me so crazy. All I wanna be is a apostle he loves. Maybe someday you'll reach out your hand to me. Hey, hey. Whoa, maybe someday you'll reach out your hand to me, 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 me. I'll reach out and touch you and hold you oh so tight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I ain't even gonna be your Negro. Hey. Don't call me Jim Crow. I won't be your Negro. No, 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 no. All I wanna be is the apostle he loves.
Your voice captured it. I mean, it's like all the ancestors were coming out through, I remember hearing a scientist say that people, slavery or, who were slaves or descendants of slaves, it sort of altered our DNA, the trauma and the tragic of it. And so I think that each generation who are descendants of slaves, we're still healing. And it's really hard for some people to grasp that. So when I heard that song, I was able to grasp it immediately and feel it.
When I did that song, as a little girl, I remembered some of that and being called gal or nigga. And I had to that was a culture shock for me. To even hear it being done now, the mindset of people, is definitely unacceptable. It's definitely unacceptable. So Joyce, I thank you for putting your flavor on it, because that was the ceiling. I know in the future we're going to be able to do the record and bring it out so others can really hear, but this is only exclusive just for the Joshua's House, Black History Month in Woodland. I'm going to also, because I did an interview with Fury on Territorial, that whole album. I'm going to bring that to Joshua's House. I'm just going to re-edit it and put it on because people need to hear it and see that there are people behind the walls. Powerful testimony. There's a young man named Tennyson that he had wrote Holy Rain. And his testimony was that he had just got baptized. Now, he was abused as a child. The world had given him up, threw him away. He had got baptized, went out for the baptism, and went and wrote the song Holy Rain. He had this encounter with the Holy Spirit. It's so powerful. So like I said, I'm going to bring that to Joshua's House so everybody can see that. It's already on my YouTube stuff, but I'm going to bring it specifically for this because people need to know that behind the wall, there are many anointed singers. You know what I mean? And it's weird. The singing is allowing them to heal. And they have stories to tell that are unbelievable, that it was only God that kept them in the middle of the stronghold of prison, which is nothing but a constant demonic activity. So, Fury, I want to thank you for coming on just to share that and about Woodley, and we're definitely going to bring that. I'm going to take that video and edit it and put it out on Joshua's House to share with the world. I thank you for doing the things that you're doing. I'm glad the doors are opening up even more so. and that you're getting more artists out there. I recommend everybody go on diejimcrow.com, sit down and look at what they're doing. Here are the many artists and what they're doing, from blues to hip hop to rap. It's a genre. It's a genre of it. And it's a little bit of something for everybody. I noticed I got a notice from them from Bandcamp. They have a new album coming out. You want to tell the listeners about that, Fury?
Yeah, sure. So last Friday we put out our first single from a new group called The Masses. And The Masses are in South Carolina, which has a deep history of racism and Jim Crow. And they are a 10 group and counting, more like 12, 13. Some people come and go from the prison, but group of guys out of men's prison in rural South Carolina, and it's all types of styles. It's predominantly hip hop, and most of the members are in their 40s, so they grew up on that golden era of hip hop. The 90s, the peak of that golden age, and that's kind of speaks for itself through the music. So the first song that we put out is called "The Movement." And it's just this very epic anthem. I would call it an anthem.
Okay.
And we dropped a music video along with it, which I directed and edited and was shot in the prison. And it's a lot of fun. I definitely suggest you check it out. And you can just go to diejimcrow.com, and it's right there on the homepage. So check out The Masses, The Movement.
Amen. And you have a YouTube page too, right?
Yeah, which is also on the website. You can find it there, or you could search Die Jim Crow on YouTube. And also today is Lefty's birthday, so happy birthday, Lefty. Lefty is one of the artists on Territorial, who is actually a Native American brother who does some traditional chants in the language of Nawa on the Territorial album.
Yes. You have to definitely spend time with that album. Definitely spend time with the interview that I did with Fury, which was a blessing, and to hear the testimonies behind each song. They're powerful testimonies, and and the thing is, these are people that are locked in but not locked out from God. They're going on with their lives. To the best of their ability, and music is the outlet that they've been able to utilize. Not every prison now. Let's tell us now. Not every prison has a music component. But those that do, thank God, because it's an avenue for them to take their mind somewhere else where you find out they're writers. They're arrangers. There's so much wealth, and it's raw. And you can feel it. So, Fury, I want to thank you for stopping by at Joshua's House for Christian Artists. I appreciate you, man. And you can go on and do what you need to do now. Thanks, Fury. Black History.
Thank you, Apostle. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you for playing on the song. I love your playing.
Thank you. My pleasure. Nice to meet you face to face.
Wabi Sabi Productions Incorporated is a 501c3 non-for-profit corporation. Our mission statement is to sponsor and produce experimental theater, video, and events that address health, political, and socioeconomic issues affecting historically underserved individuals, cultures, minorities, and communities. Through artistic and cultural programming, we build and strengthen communities, develop future leaders, promote human development, and create opportunities for youth and adult artists of all disciplines.
I'm your host, Apostle Dr. Yaloa Sayers Gibson of Joshua's House for Christian Arts. We were just listening to my friend Fury Young, who I met some years ago. And it was so funny, the story on how we met was that one of my other friends from a theater group that I belonged to that we was using for healing told me about they was looking for singers. And he said, Lois, you'd be good for it. Because I used to sing after each one of the theater pieces. God would give me a little piece to sing. I said, man, I can't sing. He said, yes, you can, Lois. You can do it. You can do it. I said, I don't know. He said, well, just give him a try. So I wrote Fury, and I said, listen, I'm not a trained singer. I said, I sing from my emotion. I said, what are the requirements He said the requirement is that we can get along. I said, I ain't got no problem with that. And that's what it was. Matter of fact, I think I'm the first girl, matter of fact, on Die Jim Crow. We did I did a piece with a young man that's on the EP. You need to go check it out, called Plastic Bags, and it was a blessing. But anyway, Joyce, I'm so glad to have you here. Let me read a little bit about Joyce so everybody knows who she is. And let's see here. Joyce Spencer, triple threat, award-winning saxophonist, flutist, and vocalist from Dallas, Texas. Joyce covers the gamut of musical influence, style, and genre for traditional contemporary jazz and classical to R&B, funk, fusion, blues, pop, and gospel Christian. I love Joyce because I met her some years ago. And God had connected us, and I thank God for that. And it's been some years since 09.
12 years, 12.
Yeah, and God has just been so good. And I mean, Joyce has just grown and grown and grown. Today I want to talk about the first one we're going to talk about is Freedom. It's from her album Many Colors. It was written in honor of her grandfather. It's a Zydeco blues, Cajun Creole, Native American music, rhythm and blues from Louisiana. It's up-tempo, syncopated manner with a strong rhythmic core. The music is centered on an accordion with a special washboard. Now, there's a group that I've been following on Facebook, and they're in Texas. And that's all they do is play that. I've been trying to bop with them.
That's it. That's the groove. That's the groove. That's the groove.
Yeah, there's one guy there. I can't think of his name now, but everybody knows him. He danced with all the women. I mean, he be breaking it out. So
That's it.
Tell us this one Freedom that you wrote.
Freeman is my grandfather,
okay,
who was one of the originators of Zydeco. And a very short explanation or description of Zydeco is really Black people's version of Cajun music.
Okay.
You know, you put a little spin of blues on it, a little bit, you know what I mean, a little groove into it. Mm-hmm. But now, I think Zydeco has taken over the Cajun music, honestly, because all bands, it's not just, when I go back to Louisiana, I hear young people playing it and getting that groove and adding their taste to it. I mean, I'm trying to remember, Cupid Shuffle is a spin of Zydeco mixed in with, you know, the lyrics says, some say I'm a rapper, but I say no. But he mentioned something about Zydeco. So that influence on the Cajun music has gone real far. And so since my grandfather, I don't think he realized how influential he was. I didn't even realize it until I think I was grown and I was in a store and here in Dallas at about 30 something years ago, and I saw the front cover of a book was a Zydeco, not a Zydeco, but a Cajun musician named Abshire. And when I opened the book, I saw an article or a chapter or a section with about my grandfather, and I was like, "That's my grandfather." Or you walk into a Papa Do's restaurant in Houston and you see a picture of my grandfather on the wall. And so I think now there might be 4 or 5 books that have been printed that talks about him and his contribution. There are YouTube videos. His name is Freeman Fontenot. So what I did was I remembered that my grandfather back in the 70s was interviewed. So there was a Zydeco musician who told us who knew who he was. So I tracked him down, and I can't remember his name now, but he was a fan of my grandfather's. He connected me with the college professor who did the interview. It was on Reel to Reel, and he sent a digital copy, but it was really, really scratchy, distorted. So I cleaned it up. I bought some software to clean it up, and then I put together with him playing in the beginning. You can hear him on his accordion. That is really him playing accordion. And then towards the end of the song, I interjected some of his talk in Creole French, if you know what I mean. He's speaking in that native tongue, if you will, and I have him playing at the end as well. So I had to work that out, and I was hoping to play with it, but the pitch wasn't working. So, but I was able to. So I really wrote and produced a whole song. It has a little swing to it as well, because it. I guess I have a combination of genres because I'm not that where I grew up was not that far from New Orleans, so I have that little traditional jazz swing in me, and then I have the Zydeco, and then I have the Motown. That was the music that influenced me. So sometimes I start writing one way, and then that other genre will influence. So somebody will listen to it and say, "Oh, kind of swings a little too much for Zydeco." When you hear the accordion and you hear my grandfather, you know where I was going with it.
I told you, tutte. Perché sta siamo usciti da. E poi. Ovviamente. Les chanter la votre télévision en plein. Oh, vous connaissez? Non. C'est de ton tour de temps de Basile. Bazunka. Eh, viens m'aider. Oba, fais de dos bébé. Comprends?
Grateful that the Lord had spoke to me about bringing Fury on, because that song that you did, and with me having you come on, he said, "Oh no, Joyce. People need to know that Joyce collaborates with those that they got no gifts and talents, but got a good sound."
Listen to you. That song was nice. You did the doggone thing.
My story was nothing but the Holy Ghost. Now let's go to your next one. This
Okay.
one made me think I was sitting at the waterfront at the Norfolk Jazz Festival. I mean, you was working the flute. The arrangement is awesome. And who was playing the keyboards? AC/DC. Tell me about this one.
Oh, AC/DC. Actually, AC/DC was a song I heard from Billy Cobham.
Okay.
It was not popular. Most people hadn't heard of it. But I gave it to my band about 10, 11 years ago. I said, hey, let's do this. I love that. I love the hook, the little chromatic thing coming in. It's because I like fusion too, fusion jazz fusion. And but so I said, okay, let's try this. And then I decided to record it. So on keyboard is Tyrone Walls. He did the keys, and he did two of the solos, I think, on it on the synthesizer. And so there's a story behind that. What happened? We were in the studio, and the guitar player bailed for some reason. I don't remember why. So Tyrone said, "I got it." So he just switched to another sound on his keyboard, and he started wailing. But excuse me. But yeah, that one is a fun song to do. I love doing AC/DC, and I did my arrangement of it. It may be a little different from Billy Cobham, because when I was arranging it or transcribing it, I said, "Oh, they're all over the place." So I said, "Okay, let me arrange it my way." But I did keep the core of the song. When you hear the chromatic thing hook going in between, it's just an exciting song. I love it. Some of the best songs are the songs you don't hear in the top 40. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's so many hidden treasures, which is the name of the album I'm working on right now, Hidden Treasures.
Let's talk about the next one. Took me on a journey to the beach with a cooler and my favorite drink while the waves are rolling in and out. Cherish. Tell us about it.
But Cherish, 2020 took a toll on all of us. That's not anything new. I remember I had just come home from Colorado Springs doing a show there, and it was 29th, as a matter of fact. It was a leap year. And the Wednesday after, I had a show at a church, ministered at a church. And the next day, everything shut down. And my mom was locked in. She was at a retirement home, and she was locked in. We couldn't go see her. Fast forward, mom got COVID, and she passed away. And I had already started working on a new project, but I got discouraged. I didn't want to work on it anymore. All right, but after a short break, that's when I said, okay, I'm coming back and I'm going to dedicate a song to my mom. And I named it Cherish because when you lose a loved one, it's amazing how much those memories mean to you. So you cherish those, you share those. I remember when mom or dad did this and that. So you cherish those memories. And so that's why I chose the title Cherish and dedicate it to my mom.
about our love. It remind me of "Let's Be Still and Snuggle by the Fire." I didn't know your husband writes.
Our love. Well, what he does. Well, what he did in this particular song, he said, "Honey, I want you to write a song that I want it to be low, sultry notes." My husband and many people like the saxophone low key, sultry, and I can do both. He's the one. He's okay with you going way high in the altissimo register and doing all that. That's okay. But he said there's nothing more heartwarming and attractive than somebody with sweet lower notes and sultry. I said, okay, I'll write something like that. And he said, don't go above this note. So that's why you hear it just very subtle, because that's what he wanted. And so I titled it Our Love, because I was thinking about our love when I wrote it. I said, okay, I'm titled it Our Love. And so that's how that song came about. Saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, um, for some time I've been trying to, I guess the word is fit in to the smooth jazz, and my husband talked to me about it years ago. He said you have to fit into one genre, then you expand. I said I've struggled with that because I'm not a one genre person. I'm really not.
Mm-hmm.
And I just needed to come out with the saxo funk. And I was in my little studio upstairs and I was writing and I said, hey, now this is it right here. And I finished it and it had more of a rock sound. And Gary Houston laid something on it. It was really nice. And then I said, okay, let me think about this. It needs some more bass. It needs some more bottom. So I sent it to Terry Tuck and he arranged the tracks and did the bass. And then I said, okay, that's it. So I say Terry Tuck, but it's really Terry and his wife in Kinjay, and that helped with it. So kept the same melody and everything, but it just needed. Sometimes you just know what a song needs. You're like, stop missing. I need more, bottom. I need some bass and now and I mean even the vocal background in the back, I was feeling it so much. I was sitting at my desk and I was hearing it so quickly. I had to grab the mic and just hit record and not care about it being perfect until I, do it later. And I hit it and I did the background stuff. It was just fun. So I had a lot of fun doing that. And even like right now, I want to do another track like that before I slow it down again. So I mean, I appreciate smooth jazz and I love it, but I just don't like one thing on my plate. If I'm gonna have a plate of food, I like some vegetables, fish, salad, and that's how I see music. the tribute show. Yeah. I, Colorado Springs. I shot a tribute show that went very well. It was really awesome. And even last year, I dedicated like 2, 3 songs. I think it was 3 songs. I did 3 Sade songs at the TEG International Jazz Fest. People loved it. I said, what is it about her music that is so soothing and healing? And so, Facebook gives you the memory thing. And the memory was about my show in Colorado Springs. So I just shared it and said, hey, what DFW, Dallas Fort Worth, what do you think about me doing one here? So several people said do it. And I thought about it, prayed about it, and now it's on. I'm producing it myself. I got the band together, and it's on March 24th in Dallas, Texas. The show is from 8 to 10, and the doors open at 7 o'clock. So I'm selling tickets on my website. This is exciting. You know how you talk about every time you're trying to do something, all things start happening. Well, my website builders, it just started. I couldn't change anything. It was terrible. Overnight, I said, okay, I need to find a new website builder. So my friend told me, David, that Bandzoogle was good. Went to Bandzoogle, got their pro package, went, pointed DNS to them. I mean, I was up all night trying to rebuild 2 nights in a row to get those tickets ready. Because it's so important when you're doing shows like that, at least 2 to 3 months before, start pushing and promoting and things like that. So I knew that, this is 2 months away. I need to start now. So I put out a quick flyer, save the date, coming soon. And because I knew that I was, in a pickle, but I spent 2-3 hours trying to get my other website builder to work. And something told me, said, it's breaking loose because it's time for you to go. And that's what God does to you. Everything stops working because that's the only way He's going to get you to move. And I have off and on, probably most of my life, struggled with moving with, okay, I'm here, I'm dedicated. I'm one of those people, when I say I'm here, I'm here. But then that's my plan. And sometimes God says, you need to get out. And let me tell you, I'm going to give a plug to Bandzoogle. Bandzoogle was, I think, initially built for musicians, but not just for musicians. And it has been a blessing. The customer service off the chain. Email within an hour, during business hours, of course. I have a response, and they're on it. Because I knew I had to build this website quickly and make it professional, make it look good. So when I asked TEG to take a look at it, he said it was great, it looks good. Because, people are looking at us, Apostle. They're looking at us to see how serious we are. Brand, on your website, on this and that. And I am always going back trying to improve what I'm doing. But I still have to, I'm like, Lord, help me, because when it's time to move, I go, well, this person is nice. And they are, but it's time for you to move.
When you started having problems with the website, that's all part of the upgrade that had to go on. Understand you can't be wasting time and being distracted, because Joyce, this is how a lot of your new stuff is going to get ready to go. From this new website you built, and you quickly, like God said, watch how all these other new shows you're going to be able to sell tickets on your website. You don't have to waste time with other people and paying this group this, and they get a percentage of this and this and that. More money is coming in your pocket. More gigs are getting ready to happen. They can pay on your website for your tickets. This is why God said, came for that particular thing, because you're going to be doing bigger shows. You're going to be the headline. It's going to be more about you. And He wants to make sure they click, get your ticket, pay, and everybody happy.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. And don't be surprised as God continues to have you to hear Him more quickly, because this is your assignment. You're the one responsible. Like you said, we operate in excellence, or we don't operate at all. There's something going on with Facebook. When I go to transfer or share my stuff, it tells me, oh, I seem like spam. I've been doing this all the time, but what it allows me to know that anytime I put Joshua's house stuff up, all of a sudden it's spam. So that means we're doing a great job. We're impacting on the kingdom of darkness. So I'll come put 1 or 2, come back later on, put 1 or 2 here and there, but I'm not going to be discouraged, because we're going up. We have this avenue where people can see us now. You've been doing this for quite a while, Joyce. You have much fruit. Now He's elevating you up into the big league. That's why I said those 2 particular songs took me to, like I said, the North Fork Jazz Festival. I felt I was right there with the group. And I remember the one you just did recently. You did some festival somewhere, and I had told you, Joyce, it's the first of many. Girl, you was in your element. You was in your element. I was watching the video. I was like, go ahead, Joyce. And people had, and then when you went down into the crowd, and I thank God for your husband Darren doing all the video recording. That's right. So that when we look at stuff, we can see how you have grown in a good time. And even the weddings and different things. There was one wedding you did, and you had everybody on the floor, and I mean, they would have the old school music on. I was like, all right, there. That's right. Record the evidence of who you are and why people need to come to Sade. I watched it when you did Sade. I was like, oh my Joyce.
Well, there's some things that just flow for me. I just flow with it. So, there's some artists like my friend Gary Fuston. He plays guitar, but his focus is being a producer. And of course, I'm a co-host on his weekly live stream show every Saturday. But that's his element, but mine is a focus on performing. That's where I see myself. And that's probably why I flow, because that's where I'm called to be. And I remember Gary had a guy from Oklahoma on the show, and he saw me. He said, "You look familiar." He said, "Oh, what? You play saxophone?" He said, "I remember you. You were playing by yourself at Juneteenth Festival, and you had people doing electric slide." I'm like, "What was that?" And I remembered. I said, "Oh," and I even have a video of it on YouTube. But it was in Irving, Texas, and I played first by myself with backing track. And I got off the stage, and people were just doing the electric slide, going to the left, and I was jamming with them. So, but he said he'd never seen that before.
This is what I'm saying. Everybody needs to know their lane. Like me, I'm not a producer, but I'm just a talker. I'm a conversation. Like my friend said, "You're such a social butterfly." I said, "That's what God made me. I can walk anywhere. I don't care who's around. I go, how y'all do it?" And then when I felt to chill a couple of people, I'm like, "Mr. Baby, you need a hug from me there, puzzle." And man, they run away from me or just bust out laughing. Yeah, you know what I mean? My friend,
I would be in the background laughing if I saw.
That's fine.
I'm like, I say, "Hey, girl, I'm right here. Talk to me."
He told me, he said, "Apostle, you know you funny. What's up with the apostle?" Because I be seeing some funny stuff people be doing. Yeah. And I have to keep laughing at it because it's funny. Yeah. I preached a message not too long ago, the Looney Tune in the church. You saw the
I'm sorry. I'm laughing before you.
Rabbit. We had the coyote. I listed all these different things. I said, you know what? We was getting subliminal messages as children. I said, what did they all have in common? None of them ever completed what they were supposed to do. How you gonna run off the highway? Beep beep, run off, die, and then get back up? Or the rabbit. Okay, well, what the heck? Well, you didn't get the rabbit? All that time and energy wasted. Those were subliminal messages that was being released to us as kids and not aware of it. I said, those same spirits is operating up in the church. You got sister so and so want to gossip about you. You got brother so and so want to try to hit on you. But everybody's not completing what they're supposed to, making their way into the kingdom. Just a lot of my leaders be like, Apostle, I done ran into the Looney Tunes. I said, well, praise the Lord. Did you handle them right?
Well, one thing that I learned, to me, and it's my opinion, it's a manipulation when they're like, I don't like people who church hop. They don't stay devoted. They don't. And I'm like, you're not going to make me feel bad about leaving. Because if you're not following God, see, what's at the top rolls down.